Hello everyone, this is Rachna and I'm here with the adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. Well, now I'm not going to get into details about Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who had actually, uh, brought about our character Holmes. So, instead of speaking about the author, we'd rather get into detail about the adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. So, The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle is one of the 56 short stories of Sherlock Holmes written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the seventh story of 12 in the collection The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes. It was first published in Strand Magazine in January 1892. So, let's get started. Let's understand and analyze this particular story. So, what do we have here? What we really have is that in the adventure of the Blue Carbuncle by Sir Doyle, the detective Sherlock Holmes and his friend Dr. John Watson, they they try to determine the identity of the jewel thief. But at the beginning of the story, Holmes tells Watson that at 4 o'clock on Christmas Day, a man named Peterson was heading home when he saw a tall man get into an altercation with a few hooligans. The man ends up dropping his hat and a dead goose. As they sit in front of Holmes' fire, the detective and the doctor they discuss ways to find the hat's owner. Now here, children, they try to analyze a lot about the owner of this hat. And why they try to analyze a lot about the owner of this hat is because then they would be able to find out, you know, uh, what happened to the jewel, the carbuncle. So you see, this was one of the ways of Holmes of trying to get to the mystery that he had in hand. So now, basically, when they try to analyze about this, they try to get onto various ways, like he deduces from the hat that the man is an intellectual because of the size of the hat, which means that he had a big brain. So naturally, this is one of the things. Then he tries to even find out that okay, because he there's dust on the hat, and the layers of the dust, see, it doesn't seem that it's just being like just a few minutes ago in the tiff between the hooligans and all, that the dust must have come. But he tries to understand that it hasn't been dusted for a long time, which means that his wife no longer loves him, and so on and so forth. So, this is how he tries to analyze. He deduces many things from the hat itself, right? So, what does he do? That he also tries to understand that this man has recently lost a fortune, because while his hat was an expensive one 3 years ago, it's not in the best condition now. And a person who's wearing such an expensive hat, if he would have still got his riches, he obviously would have bought a new one, which he didn't, right? So uh, he also deduces that the man has recently had his hair cut and that he uses lime cream on his hair. He also thinks that the man's wife as I said, that she doesn't really love him anymore, right? So what about what about Honor and the Hatman? While Holmes and Watson they're chatting, Peterson he rushes in and tells them. He rushes in and he tells them that uh, the goose which his wife had cooked contained a blue carbuncle, which is a stolen gem. Okay, thief, the theft of which was all over the news. So a man named John Horner, he had been fingered for the theft. So Horner has protested that he's innocent, even though Horner he has been booked for various crimes earlier also. Yet for this particular crime, he says that he hasn't done anything wrong, and that he's just not guilty of this. Okay, so Holmes and Watson they decide that they need to find the mysterious man who was holding the dead goose in order to get to the bottom of the theft. So Holmes and Watson they put an ad in the newspaper stating that they had the man's hat and he can come and get it back by contacting them. So when the hat owner shows up, what happens? The hat in between, like uh, when Holmes he's actually examining this particular stone, he tells Peterson to get a new goose. So you see, when Peterson he gets a new goose for him, and then he puts the ad in the newspaper. Naturally, the man he comes, he tries to get his hat, and who is that man? It is none other than Henry Baker. So when he comes in, he shows up. The hat owner he shows up, and it turns out that he knew nothing about the stolen gem because, according to him, he was just taking a goose home so that he could, get it cooked and he could eat it. That's all that he knew about. And but he does tell him that where he got the goose from, and also he tells him he recounts all the entire incident of how some hooligans they had actually come along and they had tried to take the geese away from him, the goose, sorry. They had tried to take away the goose from him and also his hat. But what really happens is that while they were in the tussle for this goose, and that is when Peterson he actually comes in, and they all of them run away, leaving behind the goose and the hat. So, and that is how the goose and the hat reaches Holmes. So, which makes it very clear that actually Henry Baker had nothing to do with the stealing of the carbuncle, because it's very natural, you know. And also Horner didn't have anything to do with this, because why would somebody else try to barge in and take the goose away? Because only the person who had actually put it in the goose would know, right? So this is what happens. Now Holmes, what happens is that Holmes and Watson they end up talking to a grumpy goose salesman who's not too interested in answering questions about the goose. Holmes instead he tricks the salesman into revealing the goose's origins by making a bet that the goose was raised in the country, despite the salesman insisting that the goose was raised in the city. The salesman takes out his ledger to prove Holmes wrong. And after pointing out the origin of the goose, Holmes gladly hands over the man's winnings. As Holmes and Watson head off, they overhear a man who also sounds desperate to find the goose, right? So that is how when they had actually visited the Alpha Inn, and at the same time they had all the other details. So in the adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson follow and confront a man named James Rader, right? The man who accused John Horner of stealing the gem. Holmes takes Rader back to the detective's lodgings, where he reveals that Holmes and Watson have the gem and urges Rader to fess up about what he knows. So here, Rader comes completely clean, explaining that he had framed John Rader because he knew that he had a criminal past and that it wouldn't take much to convince the police that he was guilty. Now, coincidentally, as Rader's sister is a goose farmer, he decided to, just jam the gem into the goose's throat in order to transport it without any suspicion. But when he had actually, tried to do it, he had mixed up the goose with the other geese and he had lost his goose. So, this is how the goose actually reaches Henry Baker. And when he knew about it, when he came to know what had really happened, these people, they had tried to actually go ahead and steal the goose from, or let me even say, not steal, to snatch it away from Henry Baker. So, you see, when Dr. Watson and Sherlock Holmes, they get to know about it, they are really upset, but they knew that if they actually put this particular man into jail, he would become a hardened criminal. And they didn't really want another criminal. So, what they instead do is that when he pleads guilty and he says that, okay, I would leave this particular city and go and live in another country, which would actually then, be able, this way then, he would be, that is Horner, he would be freed from the jail without any charges against him, because that would naturally would be known that it's not actually him, but it is actually James Rader who had, stolen the carbuncle. So they let him go. They just let him go when he pleads guilty. They let him go so that he doesn't become a hardened criminal, which was something really nice about them. At least they gave another chance to a person, right? So, this is where this particular story comes to an end. Well, thank you so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Bye bye. Take very good care of yourself.